What is the right way to play a video game? That is the core question what has caused the Diablo 4 subreddit in Reddit to become the biggest show I've seen in a while. What should have been an online forum to talk about a simple video game has turned into a battlefield for a full-out war between middle-aged balding no-life gamers and middle-aged balding casual gamers who, according to themselves, have definitely had sex. So as we all know, Diablo 4 came out to mostly positive reviews. After a couple of days of playing and posting memes, people started to talk about the game in more depth online. I mean, sure, people online are dickheads and want to hate on everything. I'm not saying such people don't exist, because of course they do. You might be looking at one right now. And on top of this, we all know Reddit has not been good for 10 years. What have I done with my life? But since Reddit is an echo chamber where only the most agreed upon things get seen, usually those posts are just downvoted and buried at the bottom of the thread. Slowly though, some people started to agree on certain points that were wrong or missing from the game, like a group finder or a gem pouch. These posts started to reach the front page and pressure started to build. After a couple of days, those people who played a lot and got to the end game wrote about their thoughts on the game in this forum dedicated to said game. One extremely long post that started with a poster prefacing that the game is incredible and that they loved it, while going point by point what they think works and what doesn't in the game. Like most people, they pointed out that minor things such as the inventory system and grouping system needs some work done, and that the campaign is great. They repeated how the game is awesome, how the end game is super fun on the surface, but at its current state needed some work done to fully achieve what it's supposed to do. This wasn't the only post like this, but this one got to the front page and was the one that finally broke the camel's back and set the subreddit on fire. Immediately, a large part of the community clapped back, making fun of the OP for playing the game so much while having gripes with it. The gamer dads banded together to call anyone who had played the game a lot a no-lifing virgin nerd that needed to touch the grass and stop playing video games if they had anything negative to say about them. Like this guy, for example, says, maybe next time when you catch yourself overanalyzing the game, maybe just step away for a while, go touch some grass, then come back and play video games when they actually feel like fun again. You'd probably be much happier in the long run. Go outside, get a life, get laid. All these things were thrown at people who had anything negative to say about the game, especially the touch the grass line. Now that you search the subreddit, there's about 1 million posts calling people to touch the grass. But it didn't only end up in name calling. Quickly, a narrative formed that anyone who had finished the campaign is playing the game wrong. They must have min-maxed, skipped cutscenes, and used guides to get where they are, while simultaneously playing too much, causing them to burn out. Anyone who had anything bad to say about the game were just chasing dopamine hits, were depressed, and thought the whole game was garbage. The Redditors started to agree that if you wanted to be better at the game and understand it on a mechanical level, you were playing it wrong. The right way to play Diablo was not to perfect your build or find the altars of Lilith, but to just like how your character jumps or have the mental capacity of a caveman.
Whoa, this axe is awesome and smashes real good. I will call you Smashy and you will be my Smashy.
Many people agreed that the small in-game stash wasn't going to be an issue for at least a year, since casual gamers will take a year to get to level 70. And let's not forget, Starfield is coming out on September, so who cares what they do with Diablo or what's wrong with it? Oh, and also, cheat inventory is just a part of the Diablo experience. Some people from the no-lifers side tried to explain that it doesn't matter if it takes time for the casuals to get to the endgame problems, everyone will eventually face them at their own speed. But he was quickly shut down by people saying, nah, most players won't get there because it's summer and people will be outdoors, traveling and barbecuing. With, of course, the final comment being how these nerds need to touch the grass. There were also some posters wondering how could people have gripes about the game. I mean, they hadn't played the game themselves yet, but still they felt like the complaints were invalid. Posts with tens of thousands of upvotes from gamer dads who had not yet made far into the game flooded the front page, making fun of people already at the end game. People who complained about the endgame were called whiny idiots who wear adult diapers and take methamphetamine to be able to put 86 hours into the game. Rating Diablo 4 only as a 7 out of 10 became a crime worthy of ridicule. Then, the final nuclear take with tens of thousands of upvotes became the biggest post of all time in the subreddit. It came in from a certified adult gamer who had a wife and who had sex. The post started with the usual advice of touching grass, getting laid, you know, like normal people. It was a long essay complaining about people writing these long essays on Reddit talking about the game's problems. It goes on to say that people only care about systems and mechanics, you know, the core gameplay and not the narrative and aesthetics. And honestly, I have to agree. When did gameplay become more important than graphics in video games? He also goes to explain that the downtime that the game has is a great thing because it gives time for him to talk to his wife when they are waiting to be able to play the game again. And once again, I have to agree. I've always thought that the longer the loading screens are, the better. If I got to choose, I'd have a loading screen to enter a dungeon be 8 hours so I could go in, go to work while it loads, then come home and do the dungeon. This way I can balance having a real life and playing a video game. Though he did miss the mark with how he complained about people only running dungeons and not doing side stuff. Because that's exactly what these nolifers have been saying, that the dungeons are overtuned and they'd like to be able to do other stuff in the game too. Sure, you could say that they don't need to do the most efficient stuff, but maybe they want to play the game efficiently so that they have time to go touch the grass and have sex with their wives. The message of this post is simple. Stop overanalyzing and thinking about the game. It's a video game. It doesn't matter. If you don't 100% love the game, you can f off. And don't you ever talk shit about this video game again, because video games, they aren't serious business, you know? Jokes aside, I know there are annoying crybabies who whine about everything online, especially video games. It could be seen with people review bombing Diablo 4 Metacritic, giving it a 0 out of 10 because the game crashes sometimes or it's always online or whatever, and I think that's just stupid. I personally at least ignore these and don't even count them as anything. Just like those people who refuse to watch the latest Cape shit because they cast a black guy as, I don't know, bald man. But to have this ridiculous crusade against people who genuinely love the game and point out stuff that could be better, it's just crazy to me. You think it's 7 out of 10 and not 10 out of 10? Fuck you. Not only this, but the whole GamerDad side has gone full on overdrive and started eating itself out too. It has now become a competition on who has played the game the least. Now the less you play the game, the more valid your opinion is, and even this poster, who made a long essay about how people at the end game need to get a life, got people invalidating his opinion because he wasn't casual enough. The comments are now all about like, oh, you think you're casual? I only play 2 hours a day, or like, I'm level 40 at Act 3, you ain't got nothing to me. Now the hate has also turned into streamers, since they play the game a lot because it's their job, and as you know, the more you play the game, the worse person you are, and the less valid your opinion is. As you can also expect, this post that claimed normal people play only 4 hours a day got people debating, is 4 hours too much to have a valid opinion? As this guy beautifully put it, playing 4 to 5 hours a day isn't healthy, and is pretty dumb. Does it invalidate your opinion? Yeah, probably. There's nothing natural or healthy about how you approach the game, so why do I care about what you think? At the end of the day, it's people arguing online, which is nothing new, and it's not the biggest surprise that fanboys on a fanboy forum pile on guys for thinking the game is 9 out of 10 and not 10 out of 10. But you can't deny it's pretty damn funny. We honestly might live in a computer simulation considering everything has to be binary these days, even people's opinions. Either something is the best or the worst. You open any review site and see the reviews, there's always a large amount of 10s and 1s. Nuanced opinions will never have a place in people's mind, and that is a real shame. People are married to their products and ideas, and anything negative said about those are an attack on them too. Last thing I can say is that gaming sure has changed. I used to think Zezima was the greatest guy out there, and noobs were made to be fun of. I guess in a couple of years, the Call of Duty Reddit will agree that Black Ops 7 should not be published because Karen said it's too violent, and their opinion is the most valid because they've never touched a video game in their life.